Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and anybody else who is joining me here today. Apologies, I'm a little bit later than originally planned. It has taken me an absolute age to get home from Bramall Lane. But who cares? Because what a win that is. Sheffield United 4, Cardiff City 1, and Blades. We are now so close. I think it's 8 more points by my calculation from the next 5 games. Guarantees promotion to the Premier League if Luton win every game they've got. And who's to say that is the case? It is very, very close. We've got 3 home games in a row, and I certainly am feeling very positive about our opportunity to just finish this season with a bang and really get ourselves over that line. Now, I didn't think it was a vintage performance from United today. I don't think we were at our best for large parts of the game. But what we did do is we dug in when we needed to, and we showed a lot of character in that squad. There are some players in particular who I thought were massive today. I want to give a huge shout out to Jack Robinson. Now, I would argue that nobody in our team, at our club, potentially in the Championship, has a better mentality or a better set of mental strength than Jack Robinson. Monday night is at a low ebb. You know, he's potentially cost us the game against Burnley. A lot of people are saying it's his fault for the red card, and he responds with an absolutely incredible performance, I thought, today. Thought he had a great game, and of course he scores the second goal, which puts us ahead, which is just a massive moment for us in the game and in the season, potentially. I thought that we did have some defensive mistakes in us. I think losing Anel was huge. I think losing Wes in particular was huge. I think we really missed the calmness that those 2 players bring to the game. But all in all, absolutely delighted. As I'm sure you can tell watching me today, I am delighted with that victory. It feels really important. And if we can follow that up with another win on Tuesday night, we're nearly there, aren't we? We're nearly there. And that feels very, very good to say. But today's game, what was it all about? So pre-game, the big news was that Anel was not in the team. His wife is away having a baby. And now that 90 minutes have passed and we've won the game, congratulations to Anel and his wife. It's definitely the right decision for him to be there, supporting her through the birth. And we have managed to get through without him. Would I have said the same if we'd lost? Yeah, of course I would. Of course I would. Right? But we also had a couple of other changes. One that we all knew was coming, which is Adam Davis in for Wes Foderingham. And we all wanted to see James McAtee back in for Norwood. And that one very much paid off. But we'll get there very, very shortly. I thought generally United started this game very slowly. I think defensively we showed some of that. Maybe a little bit of complacency just coming into the game a little bit. So after a very slow sort of 10, 12 minutes where very little had happened, we then had our first show of United, maybe not quite being on it from the start, which was Illiman had chased back, won a fantastic tackle, passed it to Tommy Doyle. And we'd managed to just faff around with it and really create a little bit of confusion in our defence, give away silly chances. Didn't come to anything in that instance, but it did not very long after. Cardiff came forward, won a corner, and from the recycling of the corner, we gave away a really, really silly penalty. Now, at the time in the ground, I was absolutely fuming about this. He's bobbed down, ref. It's low head, not high foot. It's 100% high foot. It was a penalty. I think it was the right decision, but it was still really stupid defending. And it just summed up that United hadn't really got going to start the game. We'd just not come out with the right attitude to really kick on. They score the penalty. Obviously, you know, it was 1-0. I thought, okay, that's a really bad start. I was worried. Let's not pretend I wasn't. I was starting to say things like, can we run about? Because, you know, when you're in the stands, you've got to shout that kind of thing. What else are we supposed to do? We're football fans. But we fortunately didn't take too long to get back into the game. I referenced him above about coming back into the team that we all wanted to see. And James McAtee brought United level. And this came from nothing. I thought we'd really not started well. But McAtee picked up the ball. He was maybe looking to shoot early on, and their lad pushes him in the back with just a stupid foul. But what he actually does is gives him the momentum to beat two men and end up in the box. He got really quick feet, really good touch control, and then he finishes really well. So I'm going to look at it from the United perspective. He's done well to beat two men and another shot on goal. From the Cardiff perspective, terrible defending, atrocious goalkeeping. What's he doing? He's not sure what he was trying to do, but we took it. And from that point onwards, I thought United were the better team for the rest of the first half in particular. I think we really showed something that I think Cardiff tried to address in the second half, and that actually became a really important tactical tweak that put the game in United's favour. The way that we did that is we started turning their defence. So I think Egan did it once, I think Berger did it once, where we got the ball really deep and just played the long one in behind for Ndiaye to chase onto. The first time he took a touch and hit a really nicely struck volley, which unfortunately was straight at the keeper, where he made a comfortable save. He then did it again right at the end of the first half, where we got in behind. He was forced a little bit wide for a really difficult angle. And this time it was a much more difficult save for the keeper. But that proved to be really, really important because it showed that United could turn their defence, could get in behind, and could really potentially punish them. And so at halftime, they made a tactical tweak. They took off their... Which side of the pitch do I sit on? They took off their left centre-back and they brought on a midfielder. They went four at the back and they tried to be a little bit deeper. They tried to manage the game in a slightly different way with a tweak of system, and it just didn't work. So United come out after half-time and take the lead pretty quickly. I think it was about 5 minutes, maybe a bit longer, maybe 8 minutes into that second half, where McAtee again did brilliant. It was a long ball forward from Davis. He took it down with an unbelievable first touch, ended up winning a free kick. The free kick was terribly taken, deflected out for a corner. The corner was even worse, where we kicked it straight at the front man. But fortunately, we managed to recycle the ball, put it back to Doyle, who puts in an absolutely beautiful cross at the third attempt. And Jackie Longthrow, I referenced him before and I will reference him again, came absolutely steaming in at the back post with a fantastic header. And again, just the mentality of the man to have had such a difficult time on Monday, such a fantastic reaction here today. He just does that so many times. I think I've seen him make mistakes for United fairly regularly. I've called him out on this channel. I've called him out in lots of different ways to say he makes too many mistakes. Can we rely on him? But his rate of response, the way that he bounces back from those moments is absolutely huge. And it's fantastic to see. And I really, really want to be able to give him credit for that. We then just let the game drift a little bit, I thought, at 2-1. We allowed Cardiff way too much time on the ball. We let them come on to us. We sat too deep. We just weren't playing our game. We allowed our midfield to become overrun. And particularly after they brought on Connor Wickham, we sort of succumbed a little bit to their aerial game where we were under pressure and weren't really able to get out. We were playing long balls forward with nobody to chase them. And we were just sitting a little bit deep. And that all culminates in this one massive chance that Cardiff had. And I think it's the only one they had in the second half. And I still now don't believe it went in, to be honest. There was a mad scramble. So they had a shot from distance that Davis didn't handle particularly well. He pushed it not far enough wide, and it allowed Wickham to follow in and keep the move alive. They then overhit two absolutely terrible crosses. They were shockers. But eventually it falls to Wickham about 20 yards out, or maybe just inside the box. I can't fully remember the detail on it. And he absolutely thundered it against the crossbar. And if that goes in, it's a completely different game. But fortunately, Lady Luck shined on us. It smashed against the crossbar. And not long after, United put this game to bed. We made a couple of subs. We took Doyle and McAtee off. We brought Norwood and Fleck on. We also took Bogle off and put on Kieran Clark. And then scored almost immediately. And it was just terrible, terrible defending. You know, I think it's Mark McGuinness. He was walking back towards his own goal. He was being pushed and pressed by Iliman Ndiaye. And he just didn't kick his pass. He was trying to pass back to the keeper, didn't kick it. And we saw this happen against Burnley, where they messed up the pass back to the keeper. Iliman is so quick and reacts so well in chasing that down. Unfortunately, against Burnley, the keeper got a toe on it. He could do nothing about it today. Illy knocked it round him and then absolutely blasted it home. Just absolutely smashed it for absolutely no reason. And you love to see it. Absolutely Love to see it. That was 3-1, and that was probably the game. United then started resting with Tuesday in mind. We took McBurney off to put Sharp on. We took Njai off to put Jebison on. And that was definitely done with a view to Tuesday night and making sure we can follow this win up with another win against Bristol City. And then we put the icing on the cake with a quite ridiculous goal. Now, I've been informed that what I thought I saw at the time isn't what actually happened, because the way that I saw it sat in my seat, cross comes in from Norwood. We win a little bit of a scrambled header. It's bouncing around on the line, and a Cardiff player sprints up and kicks it as hard as he can into the back of his own net. And I looked at my mum and my dad, and I was like, did you see that? Or was it just me? No, they'd seen the same thing. Now, fortunately, I've been informed since that Kieran Clark does, in fact, head it in, and the Cardiff player is just kicking it out of frustration after the ball's already crossed the line. But I genuinely thought for a moment that we had seen the most comedy own goal that I was going to see all season, which would have been a nice way to end the game, I think. But alas, that was not meant to be. And then it was a very, very nice win. I think 4-1 flatters United to an extent, but who cares? I'm not really bothered about performances at this stage. Let's keep getting 3 points. Let's keep winning games of football, and we will be a Premier League team again before too long. Now, in terms of players, there are a few I want to shout out, and I want to admit something myself. So far, I've talked about Adam Davis, and I've not been overly complimentary about his game today. I've talked about him not necessarily being calm enough to try and support the rest of the team. I've talked about a potential mistake for Connor Wickham. But here's something he did right that has a huge impact on the game. Right at the end of the first half, the ball's played over. Bogle, for some reason, leaves it because he thinks Davis is coming, and that allows, I think it's Rawls in on goal. He's one-on-one with Davis right at the end of the first half, and we could be getting a sucker punch to go in 2-1 behind at half-time. And Davis pulls out an absolutely massive save. It was huge in the context of the game. It really kept the momentum in United's favour and meant that we could come out for the second half, all guns blazing, and start to take the game by the scruff of the neck. We don't do that if Davis doesn't make that save. So a huge shout out for Davis just for that one save, because that was really impressive from him. He was out quick. He cut down at his feet. He did really, really well there. I would also shout out Illiman, because we always shout out Illiman. I'm still angry that he's not been nominated for Player of the Year, because he's the best player in the league. He's clearly the best player in the league, and I can't understand why that doesn't mean that he gets nominated for Player of the Year, when I would say he should have been the winner, never mind just a nomination. He had another great game today. I think the way that his energy and pressing forced some of those mistakes from the Cardiff defence can never be underestimated, and just another game where he just shows us everything that we need from him. I would say that it wasn't Bogle's best. I think he's had now 3 games in a row where he's not quite shown us that he's fully back from his injury yet. So that's something I'll keep an eye on. And I think if Anelli's back for Tuesday night, he'll come back into the team. And I think it will be Bogle that drops out. But no complaints. We can't complain today. It's a huge win. It's a great, great result. And let's hope that the other results that are currently playing as we speak, let's hope that they go our way as well. Because, well, if they do go our way, there's every chance we're celebrating a promotion whilst going to Wembley, which would be pretty, pretty special. Now, let's have a look at some of the comments, and I know they've been flying in. So let's see what you've got to say about the game. Leon Stevens, whatever heck he said at halftime, must have given the boys a real kick up the backside, is what we'll say. And I think that's exactly it. I thought they were a different team second half. I think we still had moments. I think from the second goal to the third goal, we were still a bit too deep. We were still a little bit passive in terms of our play. But overall, there was a marked difference from the first half to the second. We were a lot better, and we had such an immediate response to scoring that goal pretty early in the second half. So that's great to see. And again, it shows that things have really, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. We'll move on, because I can't remember what I was going to say. Julian Bell can smell promotion. Me too. And I don't like saying it. I'm not the kind of guy who gets carried away, but I think we're very, very nearly there today. I think today's a big win. Paulo Budge thinks that this is in the bag now. Ash Pearson thinks that if we win midweek, that will secure our promotion in time for Wembley, which would be fantastic to see. We've got a lot of reference here about Jackie Longthrow. You can never really fault his effort and determination. And I think that sums up what I've been saying about Robinson throughout this stream. It's his mental ability that really impresses me. We know he's got mistakes in him. We know that in terms of his technique, in terms of the way he plays the game, sometimes he's going to have mistakes and sometimes he's going to cost us. But we can never call into doubt how much he cares, how much he wants to win every game of football, and how well he responds. Fantastic to see. And let's hope that he can keep that going, because next Saturday he's going to be having Erling Haaland in his pocket. So that's going to be great to see, I think. Ash Pearson, all we need to do is keep winning. And then he's reminded me, actually, and I'm glad he's brought this up because this is a really important point. The first half, I thought, generally speaking, the ref was fine. I'm not going to say that he was good because I didn't think he was, but I thought, generally speaking, he was fine. But there was one thing that I couldn't understand, and it was some of the decisions around this Simpson. So he got booked straight away early on for a very obvious booking. He then did the same obvious foul again where he's pulling Iliman and Jai back loads, and the ref doesn't even give a free kick. Bogle then beats him, and he just sort of pushes him in the face, knocks him down. An obvious booking. He could have been booked 3 times. So they had to take him off at half time because otherwise they would probably have been playing with 10 men. But I don't think it was a huge error. And I don't want to get on the referee's back too much because he got a lot of stick from the Bramall Lane crowd. But I personally didn't think he was just that bad, though I'm sure other people disagree. It's always great to see Blades ramble in the chat, and he's obviously feeling as excited as I am about what a massive 3 points that is for Sheffield United today. Oh, I loved it. Just love it. Sometimes I hate football. I said on Monday that I hated football. I said all the results have gone against us. We saw Luton win. We saw results in other leagues not go the way we would have wanted to see. And then we saw United lose. And I was thoroughly miserable. I've avoided all kinds of football content. I've not watched highlight shows, not listened to me podcasts. But today, I just love football. Isn't it the best? Don't we all think that it's the best? We do on days like today. And finally, we will just go here to look at some more love for Iliman Ndiaye, because we all want to see love for Iliman Ndiaye. And this show of respect was huge. He came over to the family stand and gave his shirt to a young fan in the crowd. He stopped with him to take photos. I think it's fantastic to show how much he's loved at Bramall Lane, how much he's enjoying his time here. And hopefully that sets him up for a really good season with us next year, that he's going to stay and he's going to tear the Premier League apart with Sheffield United, because we are very nearly there. We're all starting to dream. We're all starting to think that, yes, this is going to be the year. A couple more wins, particularly win midweek, and we will be in Dreamland and potentially in the Premier League. Thank you very much to everybody for joining me here this afternoon. Up the Blades. We're almost there. Come on.